How do you establish trust when building relationships?
So it's something that I call the V factor. And it's actually the most overlooked element of storytelling. Okay? It's vulnerability. Right? So you have to have truth. Truth is what gets people's ears to go, right? It's like Scooby Doo time. Oh, there's something over here. I better pay attention. Or wow, this looks interesting. So truth gets people's attention. Then you have to establish empathy, which lets people know that you really care about them. You care about their world and what they're going through, right? You really give a crap, and you understand what your audience is facing or struggling or challenged with. And it all comes home, though. The third principle is vulnerability. So vulnerability is reminding people that, you know what, I may be an expert or I may have a solution for you, but we're more similar to each other than different. Here's what we share in common. I have my own foibles. It's why, as we sat down, I talked to you about, geez, the last 6 months, my health has kicked my ass. Right? Very humbling process. When I'm teaching or coaching students, in my programs online, I'm very open about sharing my own personal journey, because this is a fallacy. This is, I think, really, in a way, it captures the paradigm shift of what we're all going through in the world of business. It used to be we lived in this world of objective reality, of being the brand that spoke with the voice of God. I have all the answers for you, right? I am the guru. And instead, we're now shifting into this place where it's peer-to-peer learning, right? Where we're all co-learners together. Part of it is that things are so challenging and so complex. None of us have all the answers. So we have to be more in relationship with each other. So it's really important. This vulnerability piece is what makes you human. And here's the kicker on vulnerability, is if you establish vulnerability with people in an authentic way, you really share a part of yourself and where your edge or your struggle is. Do you know what happens? People become more forgiving of the hiccups and the bumps in the road. It's a really important principle for any brand, especially if you're in startup mode, you have a new product, a new service, you're doing something that's different. If you want to build that halo around your brand where people feel emotionally connected, vulnerability is key. Great case in point is look at Netflix in the last year. They've got an awesome product. Okay, so they raised their prices from, what was it, $8.99 to $11.99, and everybody had a shitstorm. I think the way that people reacted was actually the way that Netflix talked about it. Mm-hmm. They talked about the price increase like they were doing us a favor as a consumer. And then once sort of the crisis hit, they were still they came off in a very arrogant fashion, which I think ultimately really hurt their brand. Now, are they bouncing back? Are they here to stay? I think so, because ultimately they have a product that many of us want, and reflects sort of the new way that we're consuming media. But that's a really great example to keep in mind, the power of the V factor of vulnerability. And if you can build that halo of having more disclosure, of letting people in sort of behind the curtain, the places where you're struggling, not in a poor pity me or okay, but in a way that's relevant, in a way that's relatable. Again, by building a brand halo that includes vulnerability, people become so much more forgiving about the bumps in the road. It's just like being in a relationship with a significant other, and let's say your partner has certain places that are kind of their tough spots, their edge, their place of growth. You're far more forgiving if you have a partner that's like, yeah, honey, you know what, that's what I'm working on. Versus if you have a partner that's like, what are you talking about? That's not my problem, that's your problem. Right? That same dynamic that shows up in relationships, same thing shows up with brands or in our own individual relationships with each other. And that's the power of vulnerability when it comes to storytelling.